Some Austin flights canceled today as Southwest Airlines grounds 81 planes for safety inspections. All this after a terrifying incident aboard a Southwest Boeing 737 headed to Sacramento. In mid-flight, a 3-foot hole ripped open in the ceiling fuselage, forcing the pilot into an emergency landing. KXAN's Jacqueline Ingles joining us now live at ABIA with more on how this is affecting our local travelers. Jackie?
David, 4 flights were impacted, 2 of those inbound, 2 outbound. You would expect that you'd find a lot of upset people here at the Southwest Airlines counter, but that is not the case. Travelers checking in at Southwest were mostly immune to these travel delays and cancellations. Many, though, were still asking if their flights were on time. Those that did have to find new flights or wait say a Southwest Airlines representative called them personally to tell them what was going on and that they were offering to help any way they could. Now, we didn't hear from anyone here today who didn't get on a different flight or who had to get on an entirely different airline.
I would like to be on a plane now. Unfortunately, it took me an extra couple of hours of my time. But, like I said, in the long run, it was good that they inspected the planes.
Now, Loza did eventually board a flight to Dallas. He hopes to make it home to Sacramento this evening. That is where that plane was headed yesterday when the fuselage ripped. NBC's Brian Moore takes a closer look at what happened on board that flight.
Passengers on Southwest Flight 812 heard what sounded like a gunshot, and just that fast, they were facing a life-and-death struggle in the sky.
It sounded like an explosion at least, but all of a sudden there's a big sunroof in the middle of the plane.
One of the panels fell down, so there's about 3 foot by 6 foot hole.
And everybody's, ears popping and oxygen mask falling. The unlikely event that they fall, you're supposed to pull them. They fell.
The Sacramento-bound plane, a Boeing 737, was forced to make a controlled dive from 36,000 feet down to 11,000, where passengers could breathe without masks. It was 4 agonizing minutes.
It flashed through my mind, is this what it's like to die? You just didn't know what the end result was going to be.
A few sent text messages to loved ones.
I said, no April Fool's joke. There's a hole in the plane. There's emergency landing, and I want her to make certain she tells my kids that I love them.
The jet landed safely at a military base in Arizona.
It was a beautiful landing in Yuma. Everything went as good as it could when you have a 5-foot hole in your fuselage.
That's as close as I want to get.
Hours later, passengers were reunited with loved ones. And on Saturday, Southwest canceled some 300 flights to inspect its fleet and make sure this accident is an isolated one. Brian Moore, NBC News.
Very scary.